Alright, and you're welcome back to Prime Morning. It is time for News Flash. My name is Asiedua Akumia. Make sure you get interactive with us on all our social media platforms. Our WhatsApp line is very active, and so you can start sending in your messages in relation to all the topics that will be discussed on here. It's time for me to delve into what the newspapers have for us this morning. But before we get into that, it's the month of October. It is Pink October, and this is the breast cancer awareness. My dear ladies, my dear women, have you gone to check? Have you gone to check? If you haven't, it's not too late for you to do so. This entire month, we are using it to create more awareness for breast cancer. And so if you haven't, kindly walk into the hospital and make sure that you get checked for breast cancer. And let me remind you that today is Tuesday, and during the Good Living segment, that will be the topic for discussion. Breast cancer awareness, all right? And a huge thank you to Nutri-Snacks Oats Digestive for holding this down right here on Prime Morning. Like I always say, if you are one person who loves to go on diets, wanting to eat healthy, wanting to be healthy, but you would want to enjoy something delicious at the same time, you can opt for Nutri-Snacks Oats Digestive. It is full of all the necessary nutrients, the vitamins, and it's full of fiber. So a little that you take can make you super, super full. So opt for Nutri-Snacks Oats Digestive. And those of you who are most of the times you're too tired to go into the market, to go and shop, to come and stock up your storeroom with ingredients and all that, don't worry. Makana Market says they are there for you. All that you have to do is to go to Google Play Store or the App Store and type Makana Market. Makana, M-A-K-A-N-A. They are saying that you save time and save money. All you have to do is to just try it. Makana Market. So when you download the app, everything you wish to buy from the market, you can buy it from the comforts of your homes and your offices. And guess what? They will deliver to your doorstep. In case you are wondering or you are worried about the pricing, because if you are doing it at home or your office, then maybe the prices will be quite higher than the regular market price. Don't worry. They say that they are bringing you farm gate prices. You can get a product, you can get something to buy for as low as 1 Ghana cedi from the yard. Great, isn't it? So please and please and please, for those of you that have a very busy schedule, all you have to do is to go on Google Play Store and the App Store and download Makana Market, right? So it's time for me to read what the newspapers have for us this morning, the topics that are making the headlines in the newspapers. And so, like I said, please make sure that you get interactive with us on all our social media platforms. Let's get started with Daily Graphic. Daily Graphic is the first newspaper. On the front page, we have achieving economic stability, efficient tax utilization key. Professor Bokpin at Graphic Business Twitter or X Spaces dialogue. And the neonatal infant mortality rates reduce. And then we have Energy Minister calls for sub-regional energy transition policy. Next, we have property rate portal accrues 20 million Ghana cedi in 3 months. And that's it for the Daily Graphic. The next newspaper, we are taking Daily Guide. Daily Guide is the next newspaper. And on the front page, we have Cecilia Dapa fights Office of the Special Prosecutor. And then contract killer jailed 10 years over robbery and death threats. We also have extend laws to cover political party elections. Occupy Ghana. And then girlfriend arrested over Kikibi's owner's death. This news broke out over the weekend, where this gentleman landed in Ghana from Amsterdam, and a few hours after his arrival in Ghana, he was killed. He was shot in his Range Rover in the evening. Very, very sad story. But his girlfriend has been arrested. His girlfriend, who is Gambian, has been arrested in relation to this. Well, we hope that something fruitful and positive comes out of this. And then we also have 3 workers die in underground tank. And that's it for the Daily Guide. The next newspaper, we are taking The Finder. The Finder newspaper is the next one. On the front page, we have Esther Jebi Donko, others honored for contribution to maritime sector. We have 100 years old Kolebu Hospital appeals for help. And GJA got it all wrong. Information Minister calls for united front against attacks on media. Is this the truth behind this? Bank of Ghana and NDC Chaskili. And then we have police arrest one after death of Kiki B's owner. Next newspaper, we are taking Ghanaian Times. Ghanaian Times is the next newspaper. On the front page, we have Obechebi Lamte interchange. Work set to resume at last after government concludes negotiation with external creditors. And this is a resident from the resident engineer. FAO calls for concerted efforts in managing water resources. And then recruitment of domestic staff to Gulf states. Ghana won't lift ban until. This is from the Minister of Employment. Then Sanitation Minister, World Bank team inspect GAMA projects. And that's it for the Ghanaian Times. Next newspaper, Economy Times. We have Bank of Ghana expects $1.6 billion by end of the year, and economy activity shrinks. Ghana to receive $600 million disbursement next month. This was one story that was really trending in almost all the newspapers yesterday. Our next newspaper is Ghana Feed, and the front page. We have Veep donates to Kumasi Children's Home on 60th birthday. My support for Bawumia as a National Council member is my democratic right. This is from Samuel Wuku. Asin Central Polling Station Executive Sean Ken declares support for Bawumia. Samuel Wuku leads NLA staff for health walk and let's protect the Constitution. Coup not an option. And this is from former President John Mahama. And that's it for the newspapers this morning. And so it's time for us to get into our topics for discussion, but I have to introduce my guests to you. Seated to my immediate right is Kwesi Botre Jr., who is a communications team member of the New Patriotic Party. Good morning, Kwesi.
Good morning.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Did you sleep well?
Yeah, I did.
Because your eyes are red.
Really? I did. Probably. I just had to wake up early.
Right. The waking up early is quite a problem, huh?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's part of the job. So.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good. And seated to his right is Honorable Timothy Atabode. Please, did I get this right this time?
You got it right. Because for some time now you haven't mentioned
I haven't mentioned the name, that's true. Yes.
Yeah.
Honorable Timothy Atabode Awentrim. Yes, he is the former MP for Bilsa North constituency during the NDC regime. Good morning, Honorable.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing well. You're looking great.
Thank you very much, Honorable.
And good
Thank
morning
you.
to my younger brother too. Yes.
Right. Okay, so Honorable.
Yeah.
You know, off air, I was asking you if you would stand again.
Yes. And I told you, let me say good morning to our cherished our viewers who are constantly glued to Joy Prime and sending brilliant messages. We're saying hello to them. Yes, the standing or not standing is dependent on a lot of factors. But for now, what we are concentrating in doing is to ensure that we take over power by 2025 and so on. And that will give a very clear signal to my political future in terms of the representation of the people at my constituency. Very clear. One thing that is also clear is that it is an open secret out there that politics have become very expensive, even by researchers who have told us how much you need in order to contest as a parliamentary candidate. And the primaries are even much more expensive than the general elections. Because you need to win on a ticket. You are not going on a what do you call it, on an independent.
Yes.
And it's often very competitive between the major two political parties, looking at the chances of you being able to win and get into the house there. Beyond that, there are some constituencies, you know, that when you win, it's more than 90% that you are already a member of parliament. So in such constituencies, it's much more expensive to run. So a lot of factors will come into play, but I've not come to the end of my political career.
Okay, so you will be bouncing back.
As we grow older, to become much more matured in the political game, and we feel that we can represent the people better at that age than when you are quite young. There's so much exuberance there's so much radicalism in the way you do things. You need to carry the people along in terms of policy, in terms of your own vision and objective for the constituency that you represent. These ingredients are often lost in terms of your age, your experience in politics, and even generally about how to handle people. So as we inch further into our ages, we feel that people are better represented at that age, and I think. And
this is the point where I want to ask Osiboche if he agrees with Honorable.
Yeah, I do agree with Honorable. Good morning to you, your crew, and to Honorable, and to everybody watching us. I agree with Honorable. Just that whether Honorable contest or James Agaga contest, or even the former President John Dramani Mahama comes to contest at Busa North, the NPP is going to take over that seat. We have a formidable candidate now in the person of Mr. Alonsi. He's the DG for Ghana Maritime Authority, and he's a very formidable candidate. He's been working on the grounds. So I am confident that no matter the candidate they bring, we are going to take over that seat. But I agree with Honorable on the score that now when you want to win an internal election, you need a lot of money. And that is a major concern to me, because if politicians don't take it, we'll get to a time, we'll find people with illicit wealth taking over our political space. Find people, fraud people taking over parliamentary seats and what have you. So we have to be mindful.
People with illicit wealth.
Yeah, taking over. Because if it's all about money and you are good to go, then there's a fundamental problem. We should be looking at the competencies of the candidate and not just, the deep pocket or, the shallow pocket the candidates have. So I think we should have a wider conversation about the monocracy in our political space, because it's gradually eating up the politics we are doing. Because politics is supposed to be a game of competence, a game of hard work, a game of creativity, a game of intelligence. But right now, looking at the various researches that are coming up, it looks as if now politics is turning into who has a lot of money, and I think it's a problem. It's a problem. So I agree with Honorable.
Yes, let me say good morning to Honorable Alonsi.
Okay.
Who is a big brother. I've known him over the years. We've worked together. We've been together as students and so on.
Yes, you were saying that earlier.
Yes, I said it, and I hope he's watching. I'm saying good morning to him. Not just in terms of politics, but the fact that he's a brother. And as for what my brother has said, who is taking it, most of the times I leave that to the electorate. We don't preempt to know the mind of the electorate. But I wish him well, and I wish my party well, and we'll see at the end of the day whether my brother's prediction, whether he will become a prophet.
Honorable will be happy if Mr. Alonsi wins. He knows he's a fine candidate. He will be a fine member of parliament.
I am saying
James Agaga has done his part. We all agree
leave that to the people of Bulsa North.
But I think James Agaga has outlived his usefulness. Wow. It's about time he sits aside for Mr. Alonsi to
Are you sure he has outlived his usefulness?
The people of Busa, I'm sure they've even told you, but because of your party affiliation, you don't want to agree with the people of Busa.
That's why I told you that at my age, I've experienced a lot, both in terms of the politics at the local level, national, and even almost the whole world. I've read a lot, I've seen a lot. And we are reaching a stage where the choice, which is an inalienable right of the people, I hope we'll gradually get there. Like he said, how are we going to stem the issues of monocracy in the political dispensation? Because it scares away a lot of brilliant and experienced people who will not want to enter into that murkier aspect of our policy. Why should it be that I'm coming to serve and I must pay to be elected on a party ticket? What can the parties do? Are the rules governing the elections always adhered to strictly, or somewhere along the line they are bent to suit the whims and caprices of some people who call themselves the godfathers of political parties, or people are allowed to freely contest, and then the best, when positions are vigorously contested for, the best comes out of it. But where it is shrouded in
how was it done in your case?
In my case, at that time, it wasn't like this. Look, Like I told you, political parties at the polling stations or the what you call the electoral areas normally pick up people who are experienced, people who are knowledgeable within the country, people who, when they come out to talk, they are able to sway a lot of people to move with. That is, in fact, that is the base, that is the concept of the polling station executive. You don't just put any other fellow there. You put people who matter. When they come at the polling station to speak, people listen to them. People respect them. They carry a lot of weight. They carry a lot of wisdom at a local level. They can, on the split of a second, tell about the culture, the history, and the tradition of the people. And at a local level, this is what sells. But are we, the current crop of people who make a party executive at the polling station level or at the voting level, are they the same caliber that when we started the political parties we were going with?
So you would say that they are inexperienced?
Yes, they are changing with time. And with time, because of the involvement of the youth now, it is come. But I would want to see a blend between the old politicians and the newer ones who would steady under the old politicians and know the dynamics. But we rush too much. There's a lot of exuberance and over-exaggeration on the part of the youth of I can do better, which has often led to a challenge for all the political parties in this country. Their behavior can sometimes irritate people who hitherto would have wished to align, you see, but their posture is such a way that people begin to stay where they are. Because look at my age, I cannot go to battle out with young men for embarrassment and so on. And especially the bane is the money that is being used. That is the major issue. That we must admit it now before it's set up as political party. It's a major issue. It's a complete major. And I think the political parties would have to do more. There must be more on part of the electorate to shun people who come with money at the end of the day to buy their votes, quote unquote, and see people whom they see vision in them, whose reasoning and policies resonate well with.
But how exactly can that be done?
It can be done through political education, constant touch with them, and letting them understand why they vote. It's not a beauty contest. Say that they just vote like you do it on your platform, that people should text in for the best fellow to be chosen. No. Political parties and policies are serious institutions, and they must be taken on that value. And the actors, those who finally win, should also show to the people that they voted for you, not based on your money, but based on the vision you have. It should resonate with the aspirations and wishes of the people. So that at the end of the day, you don't even have a challenge for your political party. How come that people are changed overnight?
Okay. All right, Honorable, thank you very much. And so, please start sending in your comments and yes, get interactive with us on all our social media platforms. Honorable Timothy Atabodi Awonterim is here and Kwesi Boche Jr.
But I disagree with Honorable on the score that we should be mindful about the youthful exuberance my colleagues, youth people are bringing into the political space. I think it should be encouraged rather, because when you look at the contributions of,
I say it should be a blend.
Yeah, he said it should be a blend of the old and the youth.
Yeah. But you know the challenge with, excuse me, the older. Sometimes they get scared that when the young men come into the space, we easily beat them. Because when you have a young guy, let's say when I go and contest for Busa North with Honorable, definitely
Honorable will be scared.
I'm going to beat Honorable. Because I can go around, let's say, 10 hours a day.
Irrespective of his experience.
No. Sometimes you need the energy.
The energy?
Yes, you need the energy. Honorable agree with me. When we contest at Busa North, despite his experience in the constituency, sometimes the energy will not favor him, but it will favor me.
Okay.
You understand? And that is what sometimes they are scared of.
President Akufo-Addo won the elections. When President Akufo-Addo won over
that is why he had Dr. Bawumia. So you realize Dr. Bawumia did a chunk of the job for him. So, I mean, it's good. Young people should come into politics, but sometimes it's about the perception of we young people coming into politics.
Because earlier, Honorable mentioned that majority of the times when the younger people come, they are coming with the concepts or the mindset of money. Yeah.
It is true.
Yeah.
I mean, people see politics as business.
Yes.
And when you see politics as business, it means you are coming to make money. But politics is not business. Politics, you should have the zeal to serve. you should have the willingness to serve your people. Like Honorable rightly said, it should be based on competencies. It shouldn't be as if we are just going to vote for voting's sake and we are going to vote for the rich person or the finest person in the contest. No, it should be somebody who can bring development to yourself and to your society. And so I think I agree with Honorable that we need a broader political education to educate political actors on the need or why we need political power. Because clearly you realize that even when you go to Parliament now, when you meet some of the MPs, excuse me, you clearly see that they don't know the reason why they are in Parliament.
Would you agree with Honorable saying that the blend should be there?
Oh yeah, I agree with Honorable. Definitely,
and would the young be willing to learn?
There should be an even blend.
That is even what happens. Even in the US, you must start working at the party office too. And when you go to the Eastern European countries, where they have central committees, like in China, in Russia, and what, you need to go through the round. That's why democracies like China, you cannot get people like Donald Trump just breaking in because he has money to contest or elsewhere. No, there's just no way. You can be as rich as any other fellow and as brilliant as Einstein. You will not break in. You must go through the level. That is why they even start by saying that in China, if you don't get the mark of first-class degree, you cannot join the central committee.
Right.
So they start from that area, and you are built. You become a wholesale. You are nurtured politically. So that when you assume office, you know about the Chinese concept of development, you know about their cultural blend, you know about the policies of the Western world vis-a-vis what they stand in. So you become a whole. You understand? So we need to, as moving forward, we've come a long way. We need to build, you see, what we are practicing is Western democracy, which for now we are practicing. So as we move forward as a country and even as political parties, we need to inculcate some of these issues in our political dispensations and begin to nurture our people, because a time will come, our generation will fade off, and then their generation will come. It's like that throughout. But 100 years from now, how are we looking at our political parties? Will they just become instruments for winning elections and then coming to do what they want to do? Promises are not fulfilled and so on. And then next year, people say that we have to break an 8, or I am born into a political party, and for that matter, because I'm born into NDC and MPP, even if things are not right, I should follow that lane. Or they should have a thinking that we must always move from our traditional thinking that I am born into this route. What of those who are not born into roots of political parties? What do? Are they at the mercy of those who are born into political roots and so on? So we must work hard to ensure that the challenges that the political parties face in terms of nomination and building the youth. Look, he's aware there are some even senior officers who would think that he'll be doing well and they will sponsor me against him.
Yes.
And then they would do that, and most projects that he would have been embarking on, they become stagnated. Even the one who comes in, instead of him to continue, he abandons them. So you don't even understand.
Start all over,
Are we doing that for the sake of them? We're doing that for the people that we represent and so on. He's also there for some time. Then another political godfather said, you see this guy, he doesn't come to greet me. He's arrogant, so I'm going to get him out. How long can we be going? So even Parliament will come to a place where some people are supposed to serve so much time. They serve only one term, and that is it.
Right.
You could see that this fellow is doing his best, but he ends up like that. But we need to build a resilient democratic practices that will stand the fronts and smiles of time. Yeah.
Very true, Honorable. All right, viewers. So let's get into our the next topic for discussion, which is ECG, Electricity Company of Ghana, apologizing to customers who may have fallen victim to the cartel fraud that had happened for a while, if I should say. Now, Joy News' investigative journalist decided to go into this matter. And there have been some arrests, thankfully. There has been an expose in relation to this. Now, there are some persons within ECG or who are ECG staff. Not only that, it even go as far as regular security guys who also have become people who are serving ECG customers, saying that if you cannot be patient enough to wait for your ECG meter, they are there for you. They'll give you an easy and quick way for you to have your meter. Not only that, you will enjoy free electricity from ECG. And they are doing this by taking exorbitant monies as high as 2,500 Ghana cedis for a meter. 2,500 Ghana cedis. And so earlier I mentioned that if you have experienced this, or if you know anybody who has experienced any such, you can share it with us on our WhatsApp line, and yeah, we'll definitely talk about it. And so the Joy News investigative team decided to go into 3 different regions, and this is what has resulted to the expose that will be aired very soon on Joy News, so you need to stay tuned for that. And there are so many questions that are being asked, because at some point there were shortages of meter, and we had some executives from the ECG coming to say that there's a possibility that when this documentary was being put together, it was when there was shortage of meters, but it is not same for today, because now there are meters available that people are not having issues with getting their meters. But here's the thing, you will go and register to get a meter, but then the process you will go through, how long it takes, what you have to go through to get your meter. Sometimes as high as a whole year you'll be waiting to get your meter, and some people just can't wait. And so these, or should I call them Goro people, yes, Goro people, meet them halfway, take exorbitant monies from them in the name of giving them the meters that they are looking for, and also giving them free electricity. Very interesting. So that is our first topic for discussion. Now, my question here is, looking at the losses that the country is currently going through, I mean, BOG, yes, we are going through it in relation to that. And not only that, we are having issues with our economy here and there. And looking at the amount of losses too that ECG is making, one executive mentioned that due to the illegal meters, they have lost about over 2 billion Ghana cedis. 2 billion Ghana cedis just for these illegal meters that people are giving out to ECG customers. So what do you, in general, I don't know if you have chanced on the documentary, have you seen excerpts of it?
No,
on Joy News? You haven't?
I've read excerpts.
You've read. Honorable, have you chanced on it?
Not exactly, but I have my own issues with ECG or the energy sector for that matter. Okay,
so in the first instance, what do you make of this expose that has been done by Multimedia or Joy News?
Yeah, I think that the exposés are many. Joy or Multimedia has been making expose on a lot of important institutions in this country. I remember they made an expose on the testy dance. You understand? And they made a lot of other exposés on education, structures, and so on and so forth. So we give them the credit. And in fact, that is what the media must do. It is not for nothing that the media is called the fourth estate of the realm. And it is not also for nothing that people say they would want an ugly media out there than to silence them or to gag them. So they still add to our democratic credentials as a nation, even though the media rating has been coming down under this government because of the challenges the media institutions and personnel have been having with some unruly people within government. So notwithstanding, we still need exposure to be able to work and then correct the issues. But to what extent are those exposés been able to resolve the issues? That is the crux of the matter.
Because this is not the first time. This is not the
first time.
It has happened countlessly.
Have done countlessly. You can talk about a NAS issue and his principle that government, His Excellency the President, he will adapt, and it has fizzled into thin air. You can talk about myriad of such programs. But the issue with ECG is that, you see, if you create a lacuna, if you create an empty space, people will fill in the gap for you, whether you like it or not. We are in a human society. How come that you apply for a meter, a simple meter, it will take you not less than 6 months, 1 year or more, a meter? And I know that some time ago, what they do is that even if you don't have the meter, they come to connect you and give you a flat rate to be paying until a meter is fixed there. Where are those policies? Are they still working? Recently, we saw the whole ECG chief executive leading people to take money, like Susu.
Yeah, it's because they have made so
in
many,
a modern
so
world
much
with
losses.
technology. No, it's not
And
done. How did the losses come? You see, service providers should not be telling us about service. In fact, it's the only area that you can make money, make more money. You don't need to put in any effort. How come that people are doing what we call paying? Is it prepaid?
Yes, prepaid.
And you are still making losses. And one thing that is clear is that these people couldn't have sold the meters without the connivance with electricity workers, with ECG workers. You can't do that.
Yeah, because a lot of them are actually staff members of ECG.
You cannot do that, they know. Even the illegal connections, they know.
Okay.
Some of them are even aided by the staff because they make money from it. But how long can we use our institutions as bashing for corruption, for indiscipline, for mismanagement, for stealing in this country, to the detriment of not just one fellow, the entire people, if it goes beyond Ghana, because we supplied energy to countries beyond Ghana? How do we do that when we can easily track and know where these things come from? In any case, those illegal meters, have they been sanctioned by electricity? Is it that it is with ECG and they pick them illegally and sold, or they were imported? Who has power to import what do you call them, meters, apart from probably the energy ministry? Let me put it that way. And who certified them? Ghana Standards Authority certified them.
So actually what happens is when people complain about their meters and the meters are being fixed, the right documentations that are being put together for the meters to be fixed, when you come and you say that, oh, you want express service, they would sell those meters that are for different people to you. So all that they have to do is to forge and give you those meters.
So the issue is that those meters belong to ECG, but the forging is done by their staff. They can track them. Who is in custody of them? Who is having what? What are your, by press of a knob, you should be able, now they are even advertising that you can buy you can buy electricity by using, is it Momo or something?
Yes.
There's an application.
Yeah, they said that now they've gone cashless.
You can even sit at the comfort of your home and apply for the meter, and your details and your data is captured on their website, so there cannot be fraudulent deals.
But it's not complete. It's not completely online yet.
No, I'm not talking about the meter. I'm talking about what they can even do with that. And even going by manual, you know how many people have applied, and how come that the stealing of meters have become so rampant now than even years ago when a lot of people were. How come they were able to track those things when they were even manual? Absolutely manual and so on. But I feel that it has been it's a cartel that is within the energy sector that needs to be cracked and cracked forever. And I've seen how ECG workers have used the army to brutalize people, to go after people in the northern sector. And I think a Sojaman also, one of the areas that they were even there with the people for long. If you identify a problem, then you are not able to resolve it as moving forward. How do you get the problem resolved? We had to sell ECG to PDS because of inefficiency. And when we did that, PDS, through its collaboration with people within that sector, receive monies. They use PDS to receive so much millions of dollars. Up to now, they've not accounted for it. The shares that were in EC were sold out or were distributed to people, including barbers. People who are cutting people's hair, barbers. They got shares and all those things. And today we've taken it back. And we cannot resolve the issues. Why were we selling it to PDS? Because of the weaknesses of the system. Because of the inadequacies confronting the systems. That was why we were selling. And we've taken it back. We want to sell it back again. I think that the energy sector is murkier and issues must be done. You'll find the energy minister saying this, operators of the various institutions at the ministry saying another 10. Figures are not properly quoted. We don't even know how much power we are generated and how much we sell out and so on. The figures must be coordinated. It must be said once and for all. Look, in this country, you want to go for driving license, you must pass through the back door. You are going for passport, birth certificate, including the national, the Ghana card. All this must be backdoor. Why?
For those who are looking for express services.
No, but the institution has express service. If I'm looking for express, must I be duped? Don't you tell me that when I'm going for passport and I want express, I should pay 100 Ghana and I should pay 50 Ghana for ordinary. You know the people who told us that. Is that not what the law says?
So you would say that it would be the ignorance of some Ghanaians?
I've gone for passport for my daughter and my wife at the call it, is it the VVIP center for more than 6 months now. We haven't received it.
Did you pay for express?
We paid for express. Everything. I went there with them, wanted everything to be done properly.
And how long was the express supposed to be?
It's supposed to be within some 2 weeks or so.
Oh.
Yeah. Normally, when we used to do it with this challenge, I think within a month was too much. The ordinary one will be a month plus and so on. Up to now, over 6 months, we don't know the head and tail of it. We went there, they are not ready and so on. So if me, you can imagine at my status, if I can get it within what I paid, and then ordinary people on the street, how are they going to get it? So they will be forced to go in for the back door. If the systems that we put in place really are systems that serve the people and the interests of the people and the interests of government, we should not be having these challenges as we have. Every stage of life, even look at SS placement, people pay in thousands before their children are placed. Which is out there. I've gone through it and so on. So it is the continual denial of the existential threats on every institution, on all of us. It is what is leading to this problem. If we accept that there are problems and we handle them frontally, we'll be better people moving forward. How long can we vacillating, going back and forth over an issue that can use a twinkle of an eye to resolve? So for me, I think that ECG must take the blame. They are part and parcel of this because the place is murkier. People have used the place to make millions of cedis, and when they do that, all of us, we pay the same tariffs. It's distributed among all of us. We even pay tariffs where we don't even have street lights. And they are where? All over the country, in the cities and so on. Yet we pay street lights and so on. So the issues are many, and they are overwhelming the staff. They should really be honest people and do the job that people pay them to do the job. You know, a lot of people want to work with the energy institution because their salaries and their take-home, their emoluments are better.
Very attractive.
Very attractive. If you go in for that and you are still stealing, what are those who are teachers, nurses, public servants, civil servants, all of us who are working in one way or the other to support government? How are we going to do about it?
Okay. Mr. Boche, so now let's look at the way forward, how best government can, help curtail this, because now this is not the first time that this is happening. And I quite remember yesterday, the MD of ECG mentioned during an interview, the way he was talking, it looks like ECG or most of the authorities at ECG are aware of these Goro boys. They know that they are around and they are doing these things. What should be the way forward? Because this has to stop totally. Yeah,
it has to. I said, before I come to the ECG matter, let me congratulate my immediate seniors who have just passed their law school bar exams.
Congratulations.
I think a couple of them are watching, so if I don't congratulate them, I'll be in trouble. Before I even come to the ECG matter, let me touch on the passport issue Honorable mentioned.
Okay.
You see, when you go to passport service, the workers there feel they are doing the citizens a favor. They feel as if we need to beg them before we get a passport.
Yes.
But we are paying them with the taxpayers' money.
Yes.
I'm calling on the Foreign Affairs Minister and the Director General for Passport. If they feel the workers there cannot do their job, there are so many people at home looking for jobs. They should sack all of them. Because you go to passport office, and the way they even talk to citizens over there, I mean, it's so bizarre. It's so unfortunate. And it looks as if that is the kind of attitude that other service providers are beginning to adopt. Yes. Yeah. Because with the ECG situation, why would a meter that is supposed to cost 800 cedis, a security man at ECG can sell the same meter to you at 2,500? I mean, this is something that shouldn't happen. And these same people will wake up and start calling politicians thieves. These are the real thieves. Because these people are not politicians. They are public sector workers. They are civil servants. And these people are stealing directly from the citizens. at least with politicians, they have their own way of doing things. But these people are stealing directly. This is a one-on-one stealing basis. You understand?
Yeah.
And so it is very unfortunate. It is sad. It is something that it's been happening over the years. Just that it took Joy News for us to know, for us to have visuals or evidence to speak to it. So let me also congratulate Joy News for this. This is the kind of journalism we want. We don't want that catch you kind of journalism, the secret recording, you hide camera in your hair, your pocket, and you're recording people. No, this is the kind of journalism we need. And I'm also calling on the ECG MD. He's doing a very fantastic job.
Yes.
Yesterday I listened to him speak with Joy News, and I think he's so far he's on top of his job. Just that I know some people are sabotaging the MD and I mean with the meter process, because like Honorable mentioned, how could you apply for meter and then it will take 1 year?
At least 6 months.
So do you expect the person to sleep in darkness for that 1 year? There should be some form of transparency in the application process. It shouldn't be as if ECG is doing us a favor by giving us meters. No, we deserve meters. We deserve light. Ghanaians are paying for those services, and so it shouldn't be as if we need to beg ECG, we need to go by the back door. But with the back door thing Honorable mentioned, now it looks as if everything you need in this country, you need to go back door. Even if you need an NDC party card, you need to go back door. Everything you need in this country, you need to go back door, and it's a phenomenon that I think it's unfortunate. When in the next 10 years we are sitting on a time bomb, because if you need a driver's license, you need to go back door, voters ID back door, everything back door. Then we have a fundamental problem as a country. We need to sit down. Our policy makers need to sit down. Let's have a clear direction. There should be transparency in our the services we get from our service providers. For instance, with passport, they don't even tell you the reason why your passport is going to take so long.
So long, right?
I know a student who had scholarship to study in Canada and had to renew their passport. The student couldn't go. She couldn't go because she was supposed to travel within a month. And the passport, as another passport is not even in. Meanwhile, she had the admission in 2022.
Just renewal.
Just renewal.
Not a new passport.
And I mean, this is something that has caused the whole family, because the family had to put together their entire lifetime savings to get admissions for her to go and study abroad. And passport service had to mess up somebody's future. And I have been to passport their office twice, and I said, when you go there, it's an eyesore. Sometimes they don't even want you to enter the office. A public space, even Jubilee House, people demonstrate there. And you go to passport office, they treat you like a terrorist or an invader, as if you are invading into their privacy, as if passport office is a sacred zone that nobody is supposed to go there. It's an unfortunate situation. It's an unfortunate situation. I know people close to the foreign affairs minister, they are watching us. They should inform the minister. She is doing a good job. But passport office alone, they are embarrassing all the efforts.
This is really quite surprising to me, because the last time I was at the passport office was in 2020 to renew my passport. I started the online process. They gave me a date. I came and I paid for the express one, and like within a few weeks, like about less than 2 weeks.
Changed. Your goals are really well.
They called me that my passport is ready. They actually delivered
Where do
to
you
me.
worship? You worship a living God, or
and she joins Alpha Hour every evening.
And they delivered to me at my doorstep. So it's terrible how, because on social media, when this whole passport thing came up, I think some months ago, I think the beginning of the year, on social media was crazy. There were a whole lot of people that were complaining a lot, but it wasn't easily relatable to me, because I was like, in 2020, I didn't experience this. So what is happening now?
And you know what is, the digital center there, they tell you that place is fast, is whatnot. And you pay. So you pay extra for their services.
But I said, it's a sabotage. So we are calling on the leadership of these institutions. The ECG MD cannot do everything. He's doing well. But some of these things, they are directors responsible for meters and all, these things. Before we
get into the next topic, do you think that these people that have been, out in this expose, do you think they can be used as state witnesses or as baits?
No, they should be prosecuted.
Because the others need to be fished out, because definitely there are some more.
Okay, so I think they should be prosecuted, and when it gets to their conviction, there should be a plea bargain you sell out your colleagues and then we reduce your sentence for you. It should be as simple as that. So they should be prosecuted to serve as a deterrent to other people, because this thing is happening. Across the country, it is happening.
Yes.
People need to pay, even 2,500 is too small. People pay 10,000, 5,000 for meters. And it's very unfortunate. And so they should be prosecuted. They shouldn't only be prosecuted, they should be posted on social media. They should be named, they should be shamed. It's something that shouldn't happen. Because these same people call politicians as thieves, and these same people are stealing from Ghanaians.
Right. Okay. Right. So viewers, please, I hope your comments are coming in, and I'll definitely be reading them in the course of the segment. Okay, so we have some comments. So let's read them. Tell the NDC man I like his vocabulary. Honorable. Okay. Next one. Good morning, Joy Prime. In fact, we must pray for our country. Now, corruption is found everywhere. Please show the NSMQ today, I beg. Yesterday we showed, oh yes, and my girls, Wesley girls, yes. We survived. We survived yesterday, so congratulations to the contestants for Wesley Girls. Do we have some more messages? Let's read them. Al-Haji Hamza Pick Farm. Good morning, madam. Congratulations to Joy FM. Joy News for a good job done. This is all what journalism is about, and to be going around from one station, a radio station, defending politicians. I will urge Joy FM to turn their work, Joy News, to send their work to Tema in the industrial area and in Circle industrial area. A lot of fraud takes place in these areas in connection with workers of the ECGs themselves. In any case, are even supposed to buy meters. In developing countries, meters are given free, and a customer always pays for the power used. Once again, thumbs up to Joy News for a good job done. Apology is not enough. Those involved in this act of fraud must be punished heavily to serve as a lesson to others. Right. Do we have some more messages? I agree with Honorable Timothy Atabode. Stand that there should be a blend of the old and the young. The old should mentor the young, as happened in other jurisdictions. But that's not the case in Africa, where the old always want to exploit the young ones to stay on forever. So now you'd have to chart their own path by wrestling the old. Okay, by wrestling the old. Good morning, Kwesi Botre. You're going to give them a showdown,
You should expect a showdown from us.
Next one. Good morning, Joy Prime. As for Mr. Thomas Alonsi coming, it's a done deal. The good people in Bilsa North have been short-changed for far too long by NDC dominance. This chain will be broken. Good morning to Honorable Timothy, which I know believe in the coming of Mr. Alonsi. WM Gariba Akuse. Okay. Do we have some more? In Ghana, people get experience in doing the wrong things. The first thing a Ghanaian politician think about is how to amass wealth at the expense of the poor. Sad. This is from Patrick from Accra. Ghanaian politics is gradually losing its credibility. The ability of one to lead is now determined by the size of wallet and not about policies and ideas. A lot of constituencies are left undeveloped as a result, vote buying. It's so sad that people are now embarking on the tangent of using money to win power to satisfy their individual parochial interest, leaving the electorates to their fate. We need to, as a democratic country, criminalize vote buying and attach serious sanctions to it to deter politicians from engaging in such corrupt attitude. Let's give our mandate to persons who are ready to selflessly serve in the interest of the entire Ghanaian citizenry. We need developers and not persons who want to amass wealth for personal gains. I urge the media to take up this matter and make it a topic sentence for discussion every morning to ensure constituents are well educated on the negative effects of monetization in politics. My regards to Honorable Timothy Atabode, Daniel Akbalek from Sandema. That's your nephew, isn't it? Yeah. Good morning to you, Daniel. Okay. All right, so keep your messages coming now. Let's get into the next topic for discussion, and that is the redesigning of the E-Levy. I was talking about this with Honorable earlier before we came on air, that redesigning, what does it mean by redesigning? Because we know that when the E-Levy came, which was May 2022, it started off from 1.5% being taken off money transactions for a threshold of 100 Ghana cedis. Above 100 Ghana cedis. And then in July 2022, it was announced later that it has moved from 1.5% 0.5% to 1%. Actually, in January 2023, that was when it started. It came down to 1%. So that was a review of the E-Levy. Now there's a redesign of the E-Levy. What does this mean? And I want Kwesi Botwe to help myself, Honorable, and the very good people of Ghana to understand what the Minister of Finance, Ken Ofori-Atta, is saying by redesigning of the E-Levy. Kwesi.
Thank you. So, the redesigning of the E-Levy, there hasn't been an official communication from the Minister of Finance or the Minister of Information.
Okay.
So it was a report filed by Joy News. I know journalists have their own intels and sources,
yes,
but what
yes.
I know is that government, because of the IMF program that we are seeking to gain our full $3 billion, as part of the condition precedent, IMF informed Ghana that we need to revamp our tax policies. We need to optimize how we collect our taxes and in order to broaden our tax net, because if we have a population of over 32 million people and only about, let's say, 1 million or 2 million are paying taxes, it's quite minute. And so the IMF cautioned that we broaden our tax base. So I'm sure the redesigning of the E-Levy is part of efforts of government or the Ministry of Finance to broaden our tax net to ensure that everybody is captured within the ambit of our tax framework. So it doesn't mean we are going to increase the threshold of E-Levy, let's say from 1% to 2%. I'm not sure we are good, but it's only about widening the tax net. You know, E-Levy particularly came with its own stories and its own brouhaha. Especially Honorable Timothy's people fighting the policy to the tooth, of which I know that when NDC comes to power today, they are going to increase E-Levy to about 5% because they like money. And we don't even see what they use the money for. But Ghana now, we need to broaden our tax base, and so let's all wait for the Ministry
So the
of Finance
redesigning, you would say, would be the introduction of another.
No, we are just trying to widen. You see, now, I think initially when the E-Levy started, it was only payments on transfers. And then now they added, I think, deposits or something.
Yes.
No, deposits is
not even. And
I think they added other things. So I'm sure they are putting the whole policy together. I think Ghanaians don't even understand the E-Levy properly. So the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Information should come together and educate Ghanaians properly on the E-Levy, because the whole concentration was to educate Ghanaians on the benefits of E-Levy. But the transaction itself, what attracts E-Levy, what doesn't attract E-Levy, I think should be looked at. And so I'm hoping that this policy redesign should be something that should be favorable to Ghanaians. President Akufo-Addo and the Minister for Finance, Ken Ofori-Atta, they are two listening individuals. I trust that it will come out with a fine, redesigning policy. Like I mentioned, it is not yet official from the Ministry of Finance. And so let's wait for the official communication from the Ministry. It may or may not happen. So let's not preempt the issues. Let's wait. Let's see what they bring on board, and then we can interrogate the issues properly. But what I can assure Ghanaians is that there's not going to be an increment of the E-Levy threshold. We are not going to introduce more. Even in our mid-year budget review, we didn't introduce new taxes. And so we are not going to introduce new taxes. And so let's wait for the Ministry of Finance. Honorable shouldn't preempt the issues.
I'm not
the way Honorable is staring at me.
The
way Honorable is staring at me. Honorable wants to, but we all don't even know the basis of the
I'd rather relax.
Even in the wisdom of President Akufo-Addo, redesign can be abolishing or reviewing.
So I was going to ask that could there be a possibility of the redesigning being a total withdrawal?
Of course there could be.
Of the E-Levy, which I know that Honorable and the NDC as a whole would be very excited about.
They wouldn't.
You
know, the NDC, they like playing the devil's advocate. They like the E-Levy because they know in the unfortunate circumstance when they come to power, they are going to increase the E-Levy and they are going to use it as a source of their money-making system. But they just need to play politics. Oh, E-Levy is not good. Oh, E-Levy is not good. And then when they come, they'll come and benefit from it. But Honorable agrees with me that we need to widen our tax net. if we don't want to be going to IMF, we don't want to be going to these Bretton Woods institutions, we need to widen our tax net. And E-Levy is one of the policies that I think so far it hasn't been so successful, but then it's been, I mean, the success rate has been around 50 or 60%. And so let's wait for the policy redesign, and then we can interrogate the issues. So now, please don't preempt the issues. Don't attack Kenufo-Yatta. Don't attack President Akufo-Addo. Let's wait for the main redesigning, and then Honorable, you can go into the details of it.
Okay, so you know, I mean, with everything, Kwesi, with everything that you've said, all right. I mean, looking at the whole E-Levy, before it was implemented, before it began in May 2022, the finance minister promised all of us that it would help us not go to IMF.
Yeah, that's true.
And we ended up, you know, getting the E-Levy and still going to IMF regardless.
It was because the success rate of the E-Levy was very low. The patronization was very low because we had whole 136 MPs passing the E-Levy, making it look as if the monies were going into the pockets of some individuals. And so Ghanaians generally didn't appreciate the E-Levy, the introduction of the E-Levy. And so I'm sure that if the E-Levy had succeeded, if the anticipated monies were received, we wouldn't have been to IMF. But now that, I mean, we just received about, I think the first year we received about 30% of the estimated monies that government was expecting. And so that was one of the reasons why we went to IMF. But with the IMF, I think that it's a decision cabinet took. There was no official communication from cabinet that we were not going to IMF, and the Minister for Finance made his personal position on IMF. We had Mr. Alan Trematin then also suggested that we go to IMF. He was part of cabinet there, but the latter decision was taken by the president, who is head of cabinet, that we go to IMF. And I think the IMF is serving us well. I'm sure we'll come to the topic of whether we need to beg China to forgive us our external loans and all that. You see, some of these things are generational issues. They are legacy challenges. It's not a challenge, you know, birthed by President Akufo-Addo or Kenufo-Yatta. They are legacy challenges because since time immemorial, Ghana has been borrowing. We've been taking money from China and these Bretton Woods institutions, and we need to pay back. Because yesterday I was looking at the annual debt management report of 2006, and a loan taken in 2006, the repayment date is 2052. So that time I said, your children are the ones going to be paying. You know, they've committed no crime, but a loan taken by President Kufuor are going to be paid by our kids. And so these are generational challenges, and so we shouldn't blame the troubles on the head of President Akufo-Addo and Kenufo-Yatta. So I think we will look at the policy design when it comes out. I'm sure we'll come here again, we'll interrogate it. But for now, I don't want to preempt what the ministry will say. If the ministry abolishes it, I'll be excited. I will go on the Thanksgiving service to thank the minister for abolishing E-Levy, because it's something that nobody gets happy paying tax. I pay E-Levy.
Yes.
I send mobile money a lot. Yeah, so I pay E-Levy. So I know how it feels like to pay E-Levy, I mean, on huge sums and all that. So we are calling on them. The redesigning should also consider abolishing it.
Comprehensive, actually.
Yeah, probably.
Comprehensive.
Yeah.
Which is the key word that is sort of like scary. Yeah. But then earlier you mentioned, you were talking about, Honorable, I'm coming to you. But then earlier you mentioned the level of understanding that Ghanaians have about E-Levy. A lot of Ghanaians still do not understand the whole dynamics about E-Levy. It
was because of the propaganda associated to the implementation of the program. So people see E-Levy to be a political tool instead of a mechanism to widen our tax net. So we should take our time. Honorable and his people should do us the favor when we get the opportunity. They should educate Ghanaians on E-Levy, because you see, when there is a policy decision,
enough time should be put into
when
it.
There's a policy decision, it doesn't only affect NPP or NDC. NDC people pay E-Levy, NPP people pay E-Levy. And whether we like it or not, the policy has been passed by Parliament. And so we are all, you know, under an obligation to go by it. And so we should take our time to explain what the E-Levy is, the transactions that are covered by E-Levy. And also, there should be some form of transparency from our policy regulators. How much have we received this month? what was the money used for, so as to excite Ghanaians to pay. Because if you tell us we have gotten 60 million Ghana cedis from E-Levy, and you don't tell us what the money was used for, you don't expect people to get excited when they are paying for E-Levy. So there should be some form of transparency in our whole tax system. GRA should be very transparent with us. They shouldn't leave the job for only Mr. Ken Oforiatta, because this is the money goes to GRA. So GRA should engage the media once in a while. They should come to Joy Prime, buy airtime, engage Ghanaians, tell Ghanaians what they have used our monies for. I mean, there should be that form of, communication to Ghanaians. It shouldn't be as if we are paying the taxes and in the dark and our monies are being used for nothing. And so I said, I'm maintaining the position that let's wait for the entire policy redesign. Let's not preempt what the government or the Ministry of Finance has to say.
Right.
Let's wait, and when they bring out their proposals, I mean, if there is anything, I don't know if probably would have to go to Parliament again or what have you, but let's wait for the Ministry of Finance and the government to bring out the proper policy design, and then we can interrogate the issue.
Okay, Honorable.
Yes, I said, my younger brother, Kwesi Boche, incidentally, is having the same name with our former Kwesi Boche, the Minister of Finance. Is now late, who did so well. You see, the issue is not about the broadening of taxes. It's already broadened. It has gotten to its end. Why are you broadening it into? How many people in Ghana are gainfully employed so that they can always bear the consequences of tax? The incidence of taxation is directly on people who pay income tax. And what has been the effect of those taxes? The quantum of money gained and the expenditure. If you just oppose the two, you can clearly see a massive difference. That what has the money been used for? How did we get here? These are all questions unanswered. Remember, you came to power telling the people that the previous government was incompetent because they were relying on taxation. And therefore, taxation everybody can do. And you were to move the country from taxation to production. If you came and all these parameters changed, it is humility on your part to stand and look in the camera and tell the people of Ghana that when we were coming, this was how we thought. But when we came, we saw that it cannot be done without this. You don't go on what you have said, what you spoke against, and then go at it massively, taxing every facet of life, including COVID that we're paying, and now we've come out of COVID, we are still paying and so on. The revenue streams were left for you. My brother, I keep saying this and I'll mention again. The incompetent government that they told us that we left a balance sheet that you could use to borrow $13 billion from the open market.
But Honorable, we are not saying that taxes are always good.
No, that's not right. I've not said that because you cannot round. In fact, the best income for any country all over the world is taxation.
It's taxation, yes.
It's taxation. That because the others you go borrow from, they also use the taxes of their countries to give us, you understand? Yeah. So it's what the money has been used for. Look, from 2017 to 2018, 383 billion was accrued from just taxation. Borrowing alone was 475 billion from 2017 to 2020. What was the money used for? Now you want to borrow this. Look, even betting, you are paying, what do you call it? You are taxing wins on bettings and so on. So the people are getting exhausted. People are tired. Taxation
because we are not seeing exactly what these taxes are being.
So is there a problem betting taxing? Taxing bets.
Don't.
No, what is your position? No.
Our position has been very clear.
I wish you would.
The position has been very clear that to tax winnings on betting, you'll be doing double taxation like the E-Levy that was telling. Right. And also to, you see, betting is to fill in the gap between the unemployment issues that we are going for the youth. The youth would have to find money. The youth would have to do something to ensure that they take up their bills and so on.
Honorable, betting is not a source of employment.
Even government itself bets. The whole government is betting.
Honorable, no.
The whole government is betting. Don't you do hedging?
Honorable, no.
Don't you do
betting we are talking about here is sports betting. We are talking about sports betting.
It's another form of betting. Even taxation.
No, honorable. Government is taxing winnings on sports betting.
Let me tell you something.
So let's stick to sports betting.
Let me tell you something. Even government, this government is betting. You hedge our revenue, our oil. This is it not? You recently you hedged the cocoa, your cocoa receipts.
No, but that cannot be bet.
It's betting. No, beyond that, the whole government is operating a lottery institution.
No. Honorable, collateralization is different from saying the whole government
is betting.
Honorable, no. Honorable, some of your words are very dangerous this morning.
No, they are not. No, you are asking me. You want to eke an income to be able, like you are, to be able to take care of their business.
Yeah.
We are not encouraging. We are not encouraging betting.
I mean, these are some of the things that would be.
Don't let me even go into that. Don't even because you are diverting, because you already have a rehearsed agenda to divert. That's why he keeps telling me that we should be supporting. It is not we supporting Keno. In fact, Keno Foriata has got over 30 of the data bank staff at the Ministry of Finance helping him and support. In any case, when the E-Levy wanted to come, what did you tell us? Keno Foriata and the people mobilized throughout this country to educate the people.
Yes.
And you are in government in
going to almost every region.
You have your DCs, you have your assemblymen, you have your communicators, daughters, over the 39,000 polling stations in this country. If you couldn't educate the people and you are the majority, then you are now heaping the blame on a minority that is even resource staff to be able to do the education, apart from using the floor of parliament, and you have your people there. Other things that parliament, our side disagreed. You went in to pass them when they suited your interests. You went in and then stopped the removal of the finance minister because you said that the way you wanted to remove him wasn't the way the MP.
Did you stop the removal of the finance minister? No, there was a committee. And the finance minister, I mean, distinguished himself well. You people couldn't make a case at the committee.
You stop. What did your people say before the committee was said? Your people said that the way they wanted to remove finance minister wasn't the way the NDC was going. They won't go our way. That led to the committee because at a point in time it was over 90 MPs who were supporting us, and the majority leader came and said that even the deputy ministers of finance didn't even like the finance minister. You remember the
I don't remember. No,
but you remember that the majority leader said it's now all the MPs, and the deputy ministers are members of parliament.
Maybe you are the only person who heard it.
If you say all and they are also members of it, means that even though they are working with Keno Foriata, they didn't like Keno Foriata's way of doing things. Beyond that, the vice president told us that they were not going to tax mobile money and so on. If you feel the necessity to tax, let the vice president come and talk about it. Let the one who assured people that they were not going to tax. I agree with him. It is not an easy thing to be sending 250, 30, sometimes 20, 10 cedis to someone, and the people are being taxed from that money and so on. Or you, the sender, might have to pay ahead before the people. It's not an easy thing, especially at this economic meltdown where almost everything is being taxed. The prices of items are high to the sky and so on. And instead of you to tackle this, and you are now come out a nomenclature of redesign. What is redesign? Is it a building you want to redesign, or it's an architectural drawing and so on? Or what? We know of policy review, but then you associate policy review to air, because anytime we use the word review, say we are cancelling. But I agree with the honesty this morning. Maybe the president wants to cancel. That's why he's saying the redesign. We would wait for the redesign. We'll go into it. But I think the taxes are too many. And for me now, as I said this, you can no more broaden the tax than where it is. In fact, the reason for the E-Levy was that when the E-Levy came, we're not going to go to IMF. We're not going to do a lot of things and so on. The E-Levy, the amount of money that was expected was about 6 billion or even 7 billion.
7 billion, that was the projection.
If you look at it with the budget, projections at the time, the budget was projected to spend a deficit of over 30 billion. The E-Levy couldn't have written off the 30 billion. There was no way, the 7 billion. In fact, when it added to the actual revenues, it was, I think, about 100 billion as Ghana cedis and so on. So there was no way the E-Levy, the reasons for bringing it, could offset or could write off the deficit, which was over 30 billion and so on. I think that there are some expenditures the government is embarking on that are absolutely unnecessary and they should cut down. Look, you know, talk about the dialysis issue. I was shocked when the CEO said that they would, if they want to go by the old bill, the government or Kolebu will have to subsidize over 900 and something thousand Ghana cedis to be able to go with the old bill. That's less than 1 million Ghana cedis. Is that not true? 900,000 is less than 1 million.
It is.
Are we saying that's a country? We cannot put up 1 million, 12 million in a year, to subsidize. We can do it and do it well.
Honorable. So with what you're saying, how about you support it?
How about we support it? We generally have not been against tax. It's the use of tax and the way tax revenue
because you would agree
and
that
at any point in time, taxes can be used to stimulate an economy, to engineer the economy for growth or to withdraw excess
liquidity. Which is the goal for the E-Levy.
Yes. They go for years, but at the time you were implementing it, was it okay when people, government itself has admitted that we're going to an austere budget, there was austerity, even as there's an austerity. So those who are not employed, like he said, some of us who have to send money to the unemployed, how do you juxtapose or marry the two in order to support the hard conditions of living and so on? When in other areas, tax is being used to serve as a respite, a relief to workers and to citizens, and people are even being paid. Tax reliefs are paid to workers, and so how do you marry the difference and so on? It's like you give the tax incentive, then you go behind and take it more than you have given the people. So yes, taxes are very good sources of, when you rely on your tax alone, you don't borrow. Yes. So you will not even have deficit and then a debt facing you and so on.
Then there's a possibility that if we had to give this a little bit more time, we would end up seeing more developmental projects because
no, but the history doesn't
the
history and the money that has come under this government doesn't tell us that more money means more development.
It does.
No. Because you look, I've told you this. Look, where we have gotten to now that we are having the challenge is because there's lack of capital or inadequate capital expenditure. Where you make more capital expenditure in terms of development, in terms of opening of institutions and businesses, what it does is that the economy becomes big and have enough shock absorbers to be able to absorb the shockers. What we have seen is that there's so much money going into recurrent expenditure than capital expenditure. Look at the total volumes of money. The money that has gone into capital expenditure is 52 billion. If you've got over 800 billion and 52 billion has gone into capital expenditure, how do you expect the economy to survive? It can't survive. It should have rather been the other way around. Maybe we would have pumped 500 billion into development projects and so on.
Okay.
So if we don't do that and we keep piling our expenditure on recurrent expenditure, we are spending. We are not growing. We are stagnated. These are the children that confront this government and so on. And I feel that they should rather be remorseful when they are bringing this in and really resonate with the feelings of the people. Because people vote for you for a better government.
Right.
But if you keep blaming the NDC, it means you are making the people to regret. And I don't think you want the electorate to regret the Kwesiboche.
Right,
I'm not blaming the NDC, I'm blaming their representatives in parliament. So I said, you see, on the matter of taxation, Honorable initially said something that NPP is trying to tax everything. That is not the case. Under your regime, you had to tax cutlasses, weedicides. You even had to tax condoms.
You are taxing blood.
Under your regime,
women
HIV surged to about 90%. Teenage pregnancy was on the rise because you had to tax condoms.
Wow.
And that was very unfortunate.
We're taxing condoms because there are people who are using condoms.
For what? So
the NPD people are using condoms. I said, this one. 850 people have slided into poverty because of government policies by the World Bank. 2.4 people have gone mad under this regime.
Okay.
So are you trying to tell me that now people going mad? Mental health is now something that has to do. No, don't do that.
But with the comparison that you were just making, at the end of the day, you're taxing sanitary pads.
Sanitary pads. 15 taxes.
Sanitary pads.
Yes. I know there is a private members bill led by the Madina MP. One of the hooligans. I hear is sponsoring a private member supported by some of our MPs.
You know the best hooligan.
He's the Madina
governor.
MP. No, the Madina MP. You go and say,
Bank of Ghana.
You go and use certain words. Honorable, talk to that your guy. He's a fine gentleman.
He's also a young man like you.
He
You should
be
talk to him.
those words.
Have a forum
but
for
he
young men.
apologized.
Yeah,
he
that
came out to
makes him a
apologize,
gentleman.
so, yeah.
Gentlemen apologize and
he
eat
came
back
out to
their words.
apologize.
Gentlemen don't make deliberate errors to come back to apologize.
Just eating up his
of
word.
the moment,
Even
everything
God,
that
when we
was going
apologize,
on.
I think he was high on something. He must be investigated. That member of parliament must be.
Wow.
I'm telling you
I
that,
suspect he was
even-
high on something.
No. We know
Because
him.
even that day when you look, when you
more, even doing law, that's your senior. He will call you to order.
Oh yeah,
I'm not
he's
going
my,
to enter your fight.
He's my,
Because they are
He
legal
has stepped
people.
aside.
yeah, right, honorable. Right. I won't say much. Right.
Okay, all right, so it's time for us to read some comments. Good morning, Ms. Yodua. It seems the MPP guy at the studio might be daydreaming. How can he imagine the people of Busa North will vote out their current MP, Honorable Agaga, just for replacement? MPP is going into opposition come 2024, so this assertion by the MPP guy simply means he wants their MP to be in opposition for 8 years. From Prosper Becky. Please have mercy on Ghanaians. We don't need E-Levy. Now everything is tax, and why? Like I said, party be a cobra.
And they said NDC.
You didn't mention NDC.
Next one, MPP and
Why is
NDC cannot
your
be
nemesis?
trusted. Party be a cobra. Hey.
Say Mubaku ne cobra. NDC ne cobra.
Good morning to you all. I'm very impressed of your program every morning. The meter issue is very disgraceful. I have applied for a meter.
2 years.
Getting to 2 years now, have not got it. In fact, have moved to the office so many times. Mohammed Zaino Abidin Achem Ichiase. For the first time in a long time, because Iboche is speaking like a true MPP patriot of old, with Ghana and party at heart, he has rekindled my hope in the party with subjectivity.
Because
Kudos.
of my
Keep
blend
it up,
with him.
Chrissy. I will be happy to
That's
get
why
your
we are saying
contact.
that. We have to blend.
Right.
You see how the blend is even working
It's
here.
working.
It's good.
So Brenda Inchidonko says, good morning, Prime Morning. God bless your show today and always. Amen. Thank you very much. Next one, Akosia Santoa says, good morning, Prime Morning. Your show never disappoints. Yes, we never do. So make sure that you're always watching us every day. The ECG boss is talking too much. We want actions. He promised that, let's try to get the message back on. The comments actually. The ECG boss is talking too much. We want actions. He promised that problems associated with meter acquisition was going to be a thing of the past in June this year because they were going to manufacture the meters locally. We want meters, let them be available and the stealing will stop. This is from Patrick Accra. Good morning to you, Madam Esiedua, and to your panelists, more especially to our competent, honest, and truthful Honorable Timothy. Madam, all the illegal and financial losses happening there are caused by the ECG and the workers. Everything is as a result of the processing involved of getting meters. I think they should have just made the meters available the way bulbs are sold in the markets, so that if I want one, I will go and buy. Especially those of us in the rental places. Others may be doing something you don't like, but how to get your own meters too is a problem. So the problem can be laid to the doorstep of the ECG itself. Sumani Hamza. Well, I can't remember that the MD of ECG said that the right thing for you to do is to go to any of the district offices and speak to any of the officers. But here's a situation where some of these officers are the ones that are, doing this quite disheartening or are involved in this disheartening act. And so I hope that something is really done about this. And then speaking about the E-Levy, it is very important that Ghanaians really understand what is going on, how the dynamics of everything in general. We really want to understand. And speaking about the comprehensive redesign of the E-Levy, we want to see exactly what this is and what would come out after it. But before that, we need proper understanding of the E-Levy. I remember that when the E-Levy started last year, the finance minister was doing quite well. There was some point in July 2022 when he was reading the 2023 budget. He mentioned that the E-Levy hasn't amassed the amount that was expected, exactly, which was very transparent of him. And so we wish that he would continue and let us know that what the E-Levy, the monies exactly are being used for, how much has been amassed so far, and all that. And so this is where we end Newsflash for today. My name is Dua Akumia. Thank you so much for your messages.
Are you related to the
Nana Akumia? No.
So what do you call Akumia?
So his is Akumia.
Okay.
Mine is Akumia.
What's the difference?
There's a huge difference.
Okay.
The spelling is still... Yeah, we'll talk about...
It's not about the spelling.
Oh, I know. So yes, my name is Esiodua Akumia. My guest for Newsflash today.
So let me say before we go, let me say good morning to the Director General for Ghana Port and Harbours Authority. I think he's also a fine gentleman from Sandema.
I know him.
Yeah.
I know he was my junior.
You know when it comes
okay.
when you go to Sandema, the NPP has a lot of vibrant and competent people as compared to the NDP. When you go to Sandema, you only find people like Honorable Timothy and James Agaga. I mean that's all. But we have a lot of competent people. So we are taking over that.
Vibrant,
the people of Bulsa to determine.
Oh, James Agaga knows we are taking over that.
They could be competent, but their competence might not be to represent the people.
You see, Honorable will be excited.
The Director General
you see, Honorable will be excited if we take that seat.
And his competence lies with that place.
Honorable Kwesi says you'll be excited if the NPP is to take that seat.
Won't you?
Because
the people of Bulsa are the people to determine the side.
The people of Bulsa are not happy with Honorable James Agaga.
They are very happy with him.
They are not happy with him.
Why are they not happy with him?
It will show in the 2024.
Even Nanado, they are happy with him.
Well, let's wait and see what happens. Let's not forget that November 4th, the New Patriotic Party would also be going to the polls to elect their flag bearer. And so let's be hopeful and see what happens in relation to that as well. My guests today for Newsflash have been Honorable Timothy Atabode Awontrem, who is the former MP for Bilsa North constituency during the NDC regime, and my second guest has been Kwesi Botre Jr., who is MPP Communications Team member. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Have a lovely morning. Honorable, I know you have to rest somewhere, but then Honorable is still here.
But I'm really it's a lovely conversation and I enjoyed every bit.
Thank you.
And you've done well too. I mean, moderating political conversations sometimes it's not easy.
Thank you very much. Sometimes if he doesn't put on the other cap, he moderates well.
I think you should forfeit the entertainment and start moderating politics.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Kwesi. Honorable, thank you so much.
He's redesigning your program. He wants to redesign.
He wants to redesign. So, Kwesi, he has an intention to redesign the whole structure right here on Prime Morning. Anyways, Kwesi, thank you so much for your time. Honorable, thank you for your time. Viewers, this is where we end Newsflash. Coming up.